Hi there, this is Daniel Fire from Ranger Board. I'm just going to make this quick video telling you about how to fix a power morpher, because I know there were a lot of questions and suggestions about how to fix power morphers, and I just wanted to kind of go over some that I've learned, because I fixed quite a few in my day, so I just wanted to try and help you guys out. I don't know if there's any videos out there that kind of give a step-by-step tutorial of how to fix one, so I figure we'll just go here and we'll do some troubleshoot some of the problems that I tend to see when I get power morphers with either the lights and sounds not working or it not popping open. We're going to deal first here with the lights and sounds not working. Typically, all I have to do is change the batteries. If they're not working up to par, not working at all, just change the batteries. They're a pair of watch batteries you can get at Walmart, LR44 I believe they're called. So all you have to do is just take them out and put them back in, and I'll just quickly show you how to do that now. You're just going to go ahead and remove the batteries from the back plate like so, and just change them out and take them and put in some new ones. Take a little flathead and get the plate out, and there they are. Pop them out and put some new ones back in. Okay, the other thing that I find with morphers that don't work properly and the lights and sounds are maybe intermittent, it's a new trick that I learned, and all you have to do is this one works, but all you have to do is take off this back plate. By going back here, there are two screws, and anytime you take the screws off a power morpher, you want to push firmly so as not to strip them, because that causes a whole new problem unto itself. So you're going to move these two screws, and the goal of this is to try and get to that back screw, to that back red plate, and the screws back there, because what you want to do is, after that is exposed, set your screws aside so as not to lose them, and after that is exposed, you go to these two screws and you just tighten them into place, and what that'll do is there's wires under there and a speaker, and that'll push a little bit more firmly in the contact, and that may solve some of your problems. And the next thing you can do is we're going to try to troubleshoot some of the corrosion in the battery compartment. And if it doesn't work at all, what you are going to want to do is, it's probably because if either you bought it off eBay or you've left it hanging around for a few years and you happen to find it, the batteries tend to get left in, and what that does is the batteries leak and cause basically a substance to come out and cause a salt-like crust over the contacts here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take basically a nail file. I got my nail file from the dollar store. I cut the tip off. And what you're going to do is you're going to get in there and you're just going to scrape the contacts pretty well, and this removes the salt buildup, the corrosion on there. You're going to scrape the top and even between the springs and the top of the spring to get it all off and all throughout the compartment. You can use any nail file, just like any of this. It's better if you cut the tip off, just like I said, to make like a straight edge to get all the way back there. The other thing that I quickly mentioned on the message board was contact spray, and everybody said, what is that? That's not the real name. It's actually from Radio Shack. It's actually cleaner and lubricant. It's $10.99. What it does is it cleans the corrosion and it makes for better contacts. It typically comes with a straw for direction, and you just spray that on in there, and that'll kind of help with some of the connection issues, and it'll help remove some of the corrosion, especially if there's really caked on corrosion in there. But I still recommend using the nail file to get the last little bits out. It'll expose the metal underneath and make for a very good contact. Another common issue with a power morpher is that it will fail to open. You'll push the button and you'll see the plates won't move. And this is a little bit more of a detailed fix. Typically what ends up happening is there's a thing called an X and Y axis in there, and that gets broken, and we'll fix that now. What I'm going to show you here, let's start with by removing the screws over here. I've removed two of them, leaving this one, so I'm just going to remove this last screw here. Now the X and Y axis is basically an X held together by a spring, and when you push the button on the side of the power morpher here, the spring will cause a button to release, making the spring tighten up and recoil, and that causes the morpher to pop open. Now before you actually open up your morpher, you want to be careful. There is a wire connected to the black plate underneath, and what you don't want to do is break that wire, because then you're going to have to resolder it. So gently but firmly grasp it and take the back off. You might have to wiggle it a little bit. and we're going to expose the underneath. We have that wire, that's the wire I was talking about. It's going to stay there, it's going to stay connected the whole time, and you're going to have to maneuver around it while we work on the morpher. Now this is the view of the morpher from the inside. What I want to point out right now is this right here is the X and Y axis. Okay? That's the part that typically gets broken. It has these little handles on it that hold the spring in place. Sometimes if a morpher drops, that will get broken off, and this spring here will have nothing to connect to, and so the morpher won't open. When you remove the morpher, when you open the morpher, you're going to take out this spring. This spring is what holds this button down, which allows it to stay closed when you have the morpher together. So you're going to remove the spring because it's very important. It goes right here for later, so don't forget that. Put that aside. We're also going to remove the little red button. Okay, you're going to just remove this, set that aside as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to unscrew these 4 screws holding the X and Y axis in place. Now, to repair the X and Y axis, you're going to have to get a replacement. You're not going to be able to fix your old one. You're just not. I've tried various fixes in the past, and unfortunately the glue doesn't cut it, the crazy glue doesn't cut it, guinea rigging it doesn't cut it. It just won't work. So your best bet is to go to either Click Cash on eBay, Click Cash on Ranger Board, or Starlight Studios on eBay. I'll post a link in the sidebar there to their sales. I believe they sell it for $17.99, the replacement, and it's black and it's painted. And the only thing with Click's replacement is that it's painted black, so it creates a little bit of an extra film that is a little bit difficult to get on that center pillar there, which I'll show you in a minute. And also you'll have to kind of work it out to make it a little bit more easy to open, or to slide up and down along that axis. We'll get to that in a moment though. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove these 4 screws, and they're hard to replace. Try not to lose them. If you do lose them, you're going to have to find replacement screws. There aren't really many with this little washer thing over it, so you're going to have to buy a separate washer in the event that you lose them, because these are all connected. They're all one piece. So just try not to lose those. Set those aside with all your other parts. Okay, now we've removed this. We have the X and Y axis, which is now free. What we're going to do is we're going to pry it off with our flathead screwdriver. Again, you want to just do it gently, but the thing is that you're going to end up tossing it away anyway. So you're going to take off your X and Y axis. Okay, so that's one. And you're going to watch out for that spring. Don't lose that spring. You don't want that spring to get lost. So you remove the spring. Remove the X and Y axis. So take both parts out, and they have to go a specific way. Remember that this one right here goes at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take the spring off, and let's just pretend that we switched it. These are actually Click's replacement parts. So I'm going to put those back, okay? So we have Click's replacement parts here. We're going to put the spring over the hammer, like that, with a little handle there. Actually, you know what? You know what's an easier way? If we put it the other way. Makes our life a little bit easier in a minute. So put it like so, okay? Now we're going to set this back in the power morpher. And again, watching out for that wire, you're going to put the spring around or under the wire like this. Okay, so we're going to have the spring under the wire. What I like to do is I like to extend the plates because it allows the spring to be recoiled. And like I said, with Click's replacements, you're going to have to push kind of hard to get it where you want to go because of the extra paint there. So we're going to try and angle it so that these are on top of the little slide bars, like so. We're going to set that down. We're going to take our other XY axis half, right here. And what I find easiest after doing this for a while is try and maneuver it so that you can hook the little bar here with the spring and then bring it over like so. So I'm going to try and show you guys. Pardon me if my hands get in the way. This is kind of the most difficult part. So you're going to try and grab it like this, kind of like playing Operation. So once you hook it like this, you bring it over and you bring it over to the pillar, the center pillar there, and you maneuver it so that it's back over those slide parts, okay? You want to make sure all your slide parts are lined up, and then you want to start to replace your screws, the ones with the built-in washers, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start replacing these screws here. When you're replacing the screws, try not to tie them in too tight, or tighten them in too tight, because if you tighten them in too tight, it'll prevent the morpher from actually sliding appropriately, especially with the click replacement parts. I mean, I love Click. It's great that they did replacements that were so accurate, but and they're cheap, relatively cheap. But that's the only thing I wish they hadn't made the extra step to paint them. Just saying. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to screw these into place. I'm going to talk after this, or really one more quick thing that you can do in the event that you're having problems with the contacts and you're noticing it working intermittently. Another quick fix, you might need a pair of tweezers to do it, but it's just a quick fix. So you're going to screw your X and Y axis back into place, and your fix is pretty much done. So you're going to screw this in, and take your red. It's going to be shaped just like this. It's going to go in exactly like this and face down. As I drop it. Just like this. Okay? I'm going to put this on top. And then you're going to close up your morpher. And replace your batteries. If you can. Okay, close it, and like I said, okay, like I said, with the clip one, you might have to work out get it just to kind of move a little bit. And you got your working power morpher. And I'm just trying to hold it in place so that, and there you go. Okay, the only other issue that I can say regarding the power problem, if you have one, is again opening up the morpher over here on the underside where that wire that we don't want to break is. There are these little tiny contacts right here. Now these actually, the button when pushed makes this connection, closes the circuit, and that's what creates light and sound. Sometimes that gets either corroded as well, and you take your nail file and carefully get under there and scrape that off, or you take, or you take a tweezer and just slightly bend it ever so slightly, so it's not completely touching it, but it's closer to where it needs to be to make that contact. And then you're good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. That's my tutorial as to how to fix a power morpher. Again, just make sure you work out those plates to make them nice and smooth, or even use a little bit of contact spray and cleaner and lubricant to make it slide a little bit easier. Alright, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, post them in the